Seriously, the hell's wrong with you people?
We're bad guys. It's what we do.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Strong Arm Flicks. And we're going to do a live stream because we have not done one since all the craziness that has been taking place in the DCEU. And a lot to talk about. Jeffrey, how you been, my brother? My right-hand man in arms? How you been, dog?
Really, just kind of with all the chaos going on, just trying to hang in there, basically, over the past week, really.
Yeah, same here, man. Same here. It's been one hell of a ride. It really has. And, you know, to think that things are going to go down like the way that they are is, you know, is something else. It's something else. I tell you what, you know, I couldn't have seen, you know, it's crazy because things were finally looking up. Things were finally getting back on track. Prior to Gunn being hired for his position to run DC Studios, you know, Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdi and them, you know, they were trying to basically get the Snyderverse back on track to a degree before you know, James Gunn being hired. And, you know, they you know, there was reports about, you know, them trying to eventually, you know, keep the Snyderverse going. From what I gather from all the information that I've seen, that basically they were trying to continue the slate that was, you know, that they already had, release the movies that still haven't been released, like Aquaman 2, The Flash. And basically from what I can tell, that their plan is basically they was going to rock these movies out, restore some connectivity to the Snyderverse like they did with Black Adam. You know, you can hate or love the movie, but, you know, there was a lot of heavy mythological and, like, you know, just in your face, like, references to Man of Steel in the Black Adam movie, as well as Henry Cavill showing up in the Man of Steel suit as well. So to me, is that the, you know, was the continuity perfect? You know, would we prefer, you know, Zach to direct it? Of course. Would we prefer a black suit? Of course. But the main thing is that all that bullshit aside, the main thing is, you know, that they basically knew, like, we're going to hold the ship down, you know, and in my eyes, and this is just my opinion, I believe they were absolutely trying to rock these movies out, get to the Flash. You know, you don't bring back Ben Affleck and announce him being back in Aquaman 2, then have him in the Flash and Aquaman 2 unless you're bringing Ben back. You don't do this. You don't bring Henry Cavill back, you know, in Black Adam unless you're bringing Henry Cavill back. So clearly there's been a power struggle from behind the scenes at Warner Brothers between James Gunn, The Rock, Mike DeLuca, and Pam Abdi. Clearly, they were not on the same page, and James Gunn just came through and let off an assault rifle at all of them with these new plans, and basically he's doing exactly what we all feared from the get-go. I wish that from the get-go, though, I wasn't so optimistic about James Gunn running DC Studios, because the writing was on the wall. You know, he wants to, you know, it's not just that, you know, they're going to spin this narrative about the Snyderverse wasn't working, the you know, all of this shit, you know, of course, it's the same one that we've always heard. But at the end of the day, Gunn wants to be the master, the maestro, you know, he wants to be the Kevin Feige. He wants to basically scrap everything and that he doesn't like. And basically, from the tweets that I've seen, he seems to basically did a 180 on us, you know, because there was one point he was defending when he was just coming into the DCU, Jeffrey, when he was making the Suicide Squad. You remember him defending fans, talking about, no, they think they're just very passionate and that they want to see one or two more films by Snyder, and I don't think that that's, you know, necessarily a bad thing. And, you know, we go from that Gunn who just wanted to slide in and, you know, and that's what he was doing. And you know, make his way up the ladder, and now he's just outright on social media calling the fandom a toxic minority, and we're back to that bullshit. But yeah, there's a lot to talk about. A lot of people have been fired. Jeffrey, let me go through the comment section, and then I want you to tell me your thoughts on all this news so far that it's been flying left and right at us. Jimmy Santiago says, hello, T-Flame. Hello, Jeffrey. How you doing?
Hey.
He said, hey. Hunter Iggy, how you doing, brother? Good seeing you. He said, what's up, strong arm? Pedro, yo, what's up, everyone? Trying to be happy, but man, this sucks. I'm pissed. Yes, so are we, man. So are we, dog. So are we. It's just all right, here, Hunter Iggy, strong arm. Michael DeLuca and Pamela Abdi pay Henry Cavill for his cameos for the movies, and WB told Henry Cavill to tell everyone on Instagram that he was back. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So clearly, James Gunn. Go ahead, Jeffrey. What do you guys say about that? What do you think about them having Henry Cavill come back, and then being confident enough that to tell Henry to go ahead and announce that he's back? So clearly, Michael DeLuca and Pamela Abdi had plans to make a Man of Steel sequel with Henry Cavill. And that's what the plan was until Gunn decided, nope, I'm going to take control of that property. I don't want Henry Cavill in it. I'm going to cast my own. And then, that's how that went. So let Henry go. Tell him he's not. Thank you for your services. We won't no longer be needing you. See you later. Hit the door.
Because really, you told me about about how you were being optimistic about James Gunn being back, and really, for me, I was really kind of indecisive at that point when it was first announced that he was going to be one of the heads of DC Studios. And I was really one of those people that was kind of hey, I like his Guardians of the Galaxy stuff, which I really can't wait to see the third one to the final end of that story that he's doing. But in terms of his DC stuff, I was kind of indecisive because I was really, you're having him being the head of DC, being one of the heads of DC. So at that point, I was really kind of I was in the kind of middle ground in the sense of let's wait and see what happens, and obviously we waited, and obviously I've waited, and now we're at where we're at.
Yeah.
So
yeah. It's just right off rip, in my opinion, and I know that this seems a little misplaced, to me, though, taking a step back from everything that we know, everything that we've seen, everything we've witnessed play out, if you take a step back, Jeffrey, and think about Warner Brothers as a whole, doesn't this seem like the same bullshit from the last regime? With we want to be like Marvel. We want to be like Marvel. So what do? They give the fucking head position of DC Studios to a Marvel director, who's a disgraced Marvel director at that, because he got fired from Marvel and let go from pedophilia tweets. Doesn't matter if they were 9 years old. There was quite a lot of them. And even images surfaced with them being at even though it was just a themed party, it was a strange pedal stream themed party. And look, I know that shit's in the past, but he's a disgraced director from Marvel, and they had to hire him back because of fan out backlash and outrage. He put out a little bullcrap PR response, and they hired him back. Okay, I ain't worried about that, because sometimes, like I say, you've got to separate the artist from their art. You know what I'm saying? We were all willing to let that go, look the other way, just hoping that James Gunn was going to come in and just do something different, man. Work with what you got. Nobody says you have to bring Zack Snyder back to do everything. Clearly that was, that's not the issue. The issue is tell good stories and do right and do just by the cast and crew that you have. Do right by them. That's all you have to do. He's worried about a reboot and all this recasting. Dude, how about you focus on giving us one good movie that's worth a damn to prove that you even know what you're doing? You know what I'm saying? Because all this might be for nothing.
Yeah, and that's really the thing. And that's really the thing too. They're focused so much on kind of like the big things, like this is how we're gonna go, this is how we have this many plans, we're gonna recast, we're focused on recasting, a full-on reboot. But the thing is, for me, is, and I know a lot of people on Twitter have been bringing this up about how Warner Brothers Discovery stock is at a all-time low since 2008,
Yep,
and
I seen that.
and also even the fact that there is, and also the fact that as of right now, Warner Brothers Discovery is $50 billion in debt. So it's like, I get what they're trying to do, like have a full on reset. But
Yeah.
the thing is, like, my thing is like, you're seeing this go down right now, in the sense of like in the sense of is that you fired Henry Cavill, and that immediately made the stock immediately drop. So obviously that isn't helping your case. And now The Rock has been let go from Black Adam.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that in a little bit. Yeah.
But yeah, and really, like, that's really the thing that has me going, is like, okay, like, and here's the thing, like, I'm actually in the mindset, as of right now, I'm talking about you in the mindset of this full on reboot. Like, let's just hypothetically say that this whole thing is a full on reboot. You're starting off with a new Superman, new Batman, new Justice League, and all that. The thing is that, what are you going to do? Because you could go the basic Marvel formula, which is most likely the way they're gonna go. But that's the thing that works for Marvel. Like
Exactly. I don't know how many times.
Like, no matter how many times they try to be like Marvel, like they even
The IP is not fucking Marvel though. Go ahead, Jeffrey.
Yeah, the thing is, like, DC isn't Marvel, and I know, and someone actually posted this out to me, where he was comparing the Army of the Dead box office to the Suicide Squad box office, and it said that Army of the Dead was 100 million, and the Suicide Squad was 168 million. So basically, the Suicide Squad got more money than Army of the Dead. And the thing about that is, like, okay, let's go with that idea for a little bit. It was like, if you really think about the context about the Army of the Dead box office, they only had a week in about 700 movie theaters only in the U.S. and they got 100 million in theaters for that 1 week with those 700 theaters. So then you look at the James Gunn Suicide Squad, which made 168 million in the box office with at least 1,000 movie theaters in the U.S. alone, and a full on few months of release, and that movie got 168 million.
Right, and wasn't the movie released damn near worldwide too, though?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, and on top of that, here's another thing too: the Suicide Squad was a sequel to a high-grossing. You can hate or love the first bastardized theatrical cut of Suicide Squad that was half David Ayers and half the studios, or mostly the studios. But that movie made almost $800 million, and that the Suicide Squad, the animated movies, that IP is highly recognizable. Okay, yeah. And so is James Gunn as a director. All right, the Army of the Dead verse, that's an original IP that Zach came up with, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, that he made that fucking universe out of thin care. Nobody knew shit about it, and it didn't have a worldwide release. And it only was in theaters for like select theaters for a week, right? And so it's just, it's bullshit. It's games. We know it is. But I want to get back on track though, because I want to be very clear here though. We all tried to give James Gunn the benefit of the doubt. We were trying to be happy for him and his tenure and everything. He could have had control of all these properties. Hell, he could have gave us a mixed bag, and I'd have been okay with it. He could have directed the damn new Superman movie. Long as it was with Henry Cavill, hell, I would have not cared the most for it, but I would have went and spent my money on it and seen it because of my boy Henry, and I'd have been like, oh, well, what can you do while Zach's gone away doing his thing? I mean, hey. And a lot of other people would have too. And the issue is the fact that he's coming in, and like I said, I can tell that he is feeding it, and he must have been doing a lot of talking with the old regime, with Walter Amada and all of them assholes when they were in power. Because his plan seems to be just like what they wanted to do. They didn't want Henry Cavill back. They didn't. And James Gunn is essentially doing what? The same thing that they were trying to do. Get rid of Henry Cavill, except he actually full on sliced the thread with the axe and then lit it on fire. Yep. That's not the issue, okay? My issue is that all these people turn and tail talking about how much they want to see give James Gunn a chance. No, fuck that. Ain't nobody trying to give James Gunn a chance anymore. For one, he's been extremely combative and disrespectful to fans on the internet. For two, he's been going at every news outlet, every scooper, back and doing petty back and forth. That already had me worried leading up to this news.
Yeah.
Okay? So he's lost my respect just because of them factors. And then here's the thing for people that say, oh, well, he doesn't even drop the movie. I give him a chance. And here's the thing. Why are you guys so sure that what he's going to do is going to be successful or any better than what we had? Because now he's going to be starting over mostly because we don't know who he's keeping, who he's throwing away, which that's another issue. But he's going to be mostly doing a recast, right?
Yeah.
So what makes you think that people are going to have to get all reinvested and give a damn about these actors? And if he doesn't cast these actors spot on, why are people aren't going to give a damn, for one? For two, he has yet to prove that he can do a solid story. And for three, he has not been a box office draw for the DCEU. His movie, The Suicide Squad, is the single worst entry in the DCEU, flat out. Story and tone-wise, and the box office results. He gave the DC films the biggest DC flop that there was, period, before or after him making his movie. And so what I'm saying is that clearly fans are not turned on to James Gunn very much. They have not warmed up to him as much as you guys want to try, and you can sit there and pretend and act like they have. But if you guys are going to sit there and be overly like, combative about it, I just want to know, how is it that you're so sure that he's gonna be able to deliver when he is proven that we should be worrying based on the movie that he released? Now Peacemaker, I did enjoy that. It wasn't my cup of tea. I sat down, I did go ahead and watch it, and you know what? It was a hell of a lot better than the Suicide Squad movie. His character, John Cena, I love John Cena, but his character was actually fleshed out. They had time to focus on him. And this is not even the same version that we got in the Suicide Squad. There was a cold-hearted bastard just all the way around. This was not the same, but if you ignore that and just talk about movie-wise, right? The only movie that he's delivered to us, the Suicide Squad, that was the worst flop that DC has had, and he's the one who created it. Okay? So I just want to know why people think that he's going to be the savior. Like, I'm not saying that it's impossible, but I just don't know why people are so sure that he's just going to give us a fire slate. Like I said, he's pissed off all the fans. Besides pissing off all the fans, he's made DC's biggest flop so far. And he's never been in charge or ran shit before. He's never been in charge or ran shit before. And four, he's already making poor decisions. I mean, he's already so far he's fired Henry Cavill as Superman, and now he's fired Dwayne Johnson as Black Adam. The Rock He's fired him. Now The Rock is out. Now the Justice, the JSA, they're gone. Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, he's gone. All sequels, gone. Black Adam, they're talking about way down the line when he feels it's time to make his own version of Black Adam, he may or may not bring him back, but we already know that's PR bullshit. He's done. So at this point, I'm just waiting for Gal Gadot to come out and say, hey, thanks, I had a fun ride. I'm fired too. We already know that Jason Momoa is fired. We just ain't got the news yet. He's in talks to play Lobo. That means he's firing him as Aquaman. He's going to cast somebody else. We just haven't seen it yet. We already know this. We don't even need them to come out and say. We already see the writing on the wall and see where this is going. And all these people that are content creators, they've been riding for this shit with us for so long. I want to know, I'm really sick of this aspect. From a business standpoint, it just makes sense. No, it doesn't. It's fucking stupid. From a business standpoint, how about hire people that can do their jobs better? Hire people to write very good stories. Let's focus on giving us some good stories with these iconic characters. That's what makes sense from a business standpoint. Not letting go your only pull and attraction to the universe, which is Henry Cavill. And now, Dwayne Johnson's gone. I mean, I ain't got a lot to say about that because he had just started. He's gone before he started. Like James Gunn's just making, Pamela Abdi and Mike DeLuca look like damn, and Zaslav look like damn fools coming out preaching about the Trinity and bringing. We're not going to have 3 Batmans and Zaslav was preaching about. The Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman. When he came in, all of a sudden we started seeing Snyder cut footage, and shit like that. We started seeing, digital release being promoted by WBD. Mike DeLuca and them had plans, to give Henry Cavill his Man of Steel 2 finally, with Brainiac as the villain. And then all of a sudden, James Gunn just comes in and pulls all this bullshit. So, like I said, I'm not saying it's impossible. But I'm just saying, you guys talking about it from a business standpoint, their stocks already just plummeted again. Now, you guys better go check again. You better go check again. And yes, you can argue that, all these actors, they're getting older, their names are blowing up, so they're required, which is true. And it does cost more to keep them. Now, Henry Cavill, his salary, I'm sure doesn't go for what it did back in 2013 when he played Man of Steel. But regardless, that's not the issue. The cast is not and never has been the issue. I would argue that even the people that disagree and say that they hated the Snyderverse, they still loved the cast. They still loved the cast mostly. They loved Batfleck, they loved Henry Cavill, Superman, they loved Gal Gadot, okay, and et cetera, and et cetera. Even them people would agree and say the issue is that they didn't care for the stories that Zach was telling. Bottom line is, that's a tit-for-tat difference that I have with them. But the bottom line is, we can all agree, we just want better stories being told, better movies being made. With this cast, with these characters that have been waiting around for half a decade for you to bring them back. I mean, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to get a do-over, and we were in the middle of finally getting a true do-over or soft reboot, or whatever you want to call it. And even Zach updated what his plans was going to be if he were to ever be brought back. But even if he wasn't ever brought back, let's focus on better stories. That's all there is to that. And I don't know what happened with Jeffrey. It looks like he dropped out. He'll be back in a minute. Let's jump into the comment section real quick. All right. Jose Diaz, I like and appreciate this content. Well, thank you, brother. Smash the like button. Subscribe if you're new. David Ayer's the GOAT. Released the Ayer cut. Yes, released the Ayer cut. But although I will say that now, I hope that all this praising that David Ayer's been doing with James Gunn, I hope we get that Ayer cut. I hope it does something for him, because right now it ain't looking like that did a damn bit of good. Because I don't know why David was praising him in the first place when he soft rebooted his movie and then killed off the characters that he brought to life on the big screen for the first time, that he essentially created them iterations of it, Gunn grabs him, gets a hold of him, and kills half of them off and disrespects the other ones that are left. So I didn't understand that from the get-go. And David Ayer is a great filmmaker, man, but I don't, he's got to stop this simping for James Gunn that he's been doing. And it looks like, I don't know for sure, kind of looked like he changed his tone a little bit. But I guess we'll have to see. But like I said, release that Ayer cut. I've been waiting for it I don't know. Hopefully I don't have gray hair by the time the damn thing comes out. Jose again says, hello, everybody in the chat. Jimmy Santiago, bring me on. I have some shit to say. All right. Hold on, brother. I'm going to try and send you a link. I'm going to send you a link, Jimmy. And let me see. I'm going to do it. You know what? I'm going to do it right now. If anybody wants to get on this panel that's in the chat, you're more than welcome to get on. So if you want a link sent, today's the day. So let me I usually send my links through DMs on the Twitter, so I don't know how. Let me look and see. Let me see how I can do this. Let me just go ahead and maybe this will put the link in there. Let me see if this works. All right, guys, check the chat. There is a link in the chat, Jimmy. Ray, what's going on? Fuck them. They never gave Zach a chance. Exactly. Frank C. Mike DeLuca should have been the one to run DC. Yeah, exactly. Even I didn't necessarily want Dwayne The Rock Johnson in charge, but dude, at least he had the right idea. And The Rock was made an advisor, and that he said he was fine with that. He was bullshitting. Dwayne Johnson absolutely wanted that position. And honestly, there was a lot of Man of Steel references in his movie, and he brought Henry Cavill back and fought tooth and nail with the studio. I would have been okay with that. Of course, we probably wouldn't have liked everything he would have did, but compared to this shit, yo. Hey, how you doing, man?
Hey, what's up, brother? How you doing, man? I love your content, man. I love what you do.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Man, so what do you think about all this news, man? All this craziness?
Man, I'm freaking pissed off, man. I've been doing it for 4 days. I've just been asking myself, what the F is this studio doing to us? They're killing us over here.
Yeah.
It's just bullshit. I just don't understand, for real, man, T-Flame. I just don't understand how they bring Henry Cavill back just for them to freaking kick him in the balls again and embarrass the dude, which he has they have no right to do to Henry Cavill, because he's the best Batman ever since Christopher Reeve came in. He's my Superman, ever since Christopher Reeve left.
Yeah.
And there's nobody that it can bring into matchup. He's ripped out of the comic books.
Right.
It's like, I understand these guys. I just understand. Look at their stock right now. It's at 812 right now. Their stock, and I don't even think they're going to survive in the next 2-3 months.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to survive neither. I was looking at that on Twitter, their stock and everything, how it's already been bad, but how it's just plummeting since this news. Maybe
everybody's been saying fire James Gunn, and I've been there every day for about 2-3 hours, just fire James Gunn, boycott WBD. That's me. I've been doing that shit every freaking day for the last 4 days, man.
And the main thing that I want to bring up too is like, James Gunn put up this comment, right? And he said, one of them, he said something about a toxic minority again. And basically, this is the same James Gunn that tried to come in and act like an ally when they were hiring him to do the Suicide Squad movie, to the movement. To the DC fandom, and now he's perpetuating this old bullshit that these antis love to hear. They were jumping up and down when he used that phrase. And my thing is that he definitely misread the room, because I think that even people that didn't like the Snyderverse, right? I think that even they can argue the problem was not the cast. They wanted better stories with the same cast and justice done by him, especially Henry Cavill. You know, all the fandom, it wasn't just Snyder fans. There was a lot, the whole DC fandom was damn near fighting to get Henry Cavill back, to get him his Man of Steel sequel. And they had disrespected him for I don't know how long and just drug him through the mud. And finally, when he's back, you know, they do this to him. And that's just that poor guy, man. That had to have crushed him. And you know, and how stupid does it make the studio and incompetent does it make them look that they would have him come back, announce that he's back, and basically announce that he's going to be making Man of Steel 2. They all but said the phrase Man of Steel 2, like in Henry's video, you know.
Right.
And you know, that just to pull and rip it away from him and say, "Yep, I'm fired, guys." Like, wow.
That is so crazy, man. I mean, you're right. You hit it on the nail when you said something about James Gunn was talking to the old regime. He's a lackey, man. I knew it. I was the same way. A lot of people were the same way. I was thinking. I said, I don't know about James Gunn. Look at what happened with TSS. He lost $200 million, man. So what does that tell you? What does that tell you?
And again, I don't understand the decision making. I still never will at this studio. You know, you hire the guy that had the biggest DC flop ever in the DCEU. His movie lost more money than any movie, period, in the DCEU. I mean, they lost hundreds of millions of dollars, like hundreds upon hundreds of millions of dollars, like on his movie. You know, besides the fact that he has this, you know, I mean, people can call it what they want because they like Gunn. He is a disgraced Marvel director. He fell from grace when all them pedo tweets came out. They fired his ass, and that's when DC took him up under their wing and got him in writing that he would do the next Suicide Squad movie. They locked him down in place, and then Marvel was like, "Oh, you know what? Just issue an apology. We'll at least let you finish your Guardians 3." You know, because because they were scared. That's the only reason why Marvel hired him back, because DC scooped his ass up, because that's what they wanted. That's what the old regime wants, and it's clear that that's what they still want. They want Marvel. They want to be Marvel. It's like, dude, if you guys weren't so broke, maybe you could try to buy the Marvel IP or come up with some kind of deal like Sony does with Marvel. But you guys can't, because you can't get your shit right enough, and you're just constantly driving the studio into the fucking ground, man. Like,
exactly. Their credibility is down to zero now.
Yeah,
50 billion or 50 million?
50 billion, like
50
billion.
billion with a B in debt. Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's really the thing too. Like at this point, I'm just waiting for Netflix to scoop up DC from Warner Brothers, because obviously they're doing DC a lot better with them with things like the Sandman, like, and this is the thing too. Like apparently this is a rumor. This is a straight up rumor that's been going on, but still it does make sense. So the rumor was that before the Snyder Cut was announced for Warner Brothers and HBO Max, the word on the street is that Netflix originally was going to buy that 214 cut of the Snyder Cut, and then Warner Brothers was like, no, we don't want you to have that. And so then Warner Brothers basically gave them a alternative, and that's what Army of the Dead was. That was the alternative, because originally Army of the Dead was supposed to be a sequel to Dawn of the Dead, Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead, but they just kept it in the shelf for so long.
Yeah,
so,
and the Slipknot fan raises a good point. You've seen the writing on the wall. This was a red flag immediately. They even renamed it the DCU. They didn't even.
I just realized that.
DCU, MCU. You see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Again, and if this is what they're trying to do, they're gonna fail. They're gonna fail because again, I don't know. I get it. Like people, these old dudes with suits on, they're just like, they just see a dollar sign, and it's like you got to understand the IP that you own, man. This is not Marvel, man. Just because it's cape shit, this is not Marvel. You can't. It's not going to work, man. Like,
yeah, they think that's a recipe. They think that's a recipe for their success. Like I was talking to my son a couple of days ago, and I was telling him, you know, at the MCU or James Gunn is trying to make Batman smile more, or just say, "Hey, look, I broke my back." You never see Batman in the comic books talking about breaking his back or smiling after. He's serious as shit, man.
Yeah.
You cannot make a dark character into a happy-go-lucky character, you know?
Right.
I mean, the only time aside from Super Friends that you've seen Batman smile was in The Killing Joke, which has some dark overtones about like maybe the Joker, maybe Batman killed the Joker at that moment when he was laughing. Like that's the only time he smiled outside of Super Friends.
Yeah, you know, and Game City Savior said, I was never optimistic. What's up, Game City Savior? What's up, Ray? He said, I was never optimistic about Gunn. And then he said, you're not even supposed to joke about that even a little bit, Gunn. What the fuck? I'm sure he's talking about the posts and stuff, you know, his old posts. But, you know, it's just, you know, so real quick, guys, let's go and look at this new news that The Rock has posted officially. Let's go ahead and look at this real quick because I want to talk about this because at this point, I think it's clear now that we can see that it'll just be a matter of time before Gadot comes out and announces her being fired from the role as well. But yeah, it's just, you know, this has just been a shit show, man, to say the least. And you know.
Yeah, they're doing this so much stupid shit that they don't understand. Like it's gonna backfire on them. I'll be surprised, like I said, if they last another 6 months after this outbreak. You know, this breakout on Twitter because we're just pissed off. I'm a 55-year-old DC fan, and I know how these characters should be portrayed. And they had the jewel. They had all these movies and all these characters that if they just would have let Zack Snyder continue his vision, he would have. Oh my goodness, man! They would have been looking at $2 billion, $1 billion every time. But hey, what happened? They don't like money. They don't want my money.
I mean, I don't you know, how hard was it to just, hey, let's finish the slate of movies you already got, as in Aquaman 2, Flash, right? And Shazam, Fear of the Gods, right? And then in a year and a half from now, let's see what Zack Snyder's cooking up. Let's see if we can get him to sign something in writing saying he'll do the sequel to Zack Snyder's Justice League 2. And then that's
perfect.
The ball moving. It's that simple, man.
Perfect. You know? That's the same thing I would have done. Same thing. They were on the right track.
Right, and I'm pretty. I can't say 100% for sure, but from everything that I've seen and gathered, Mike DeLuca and Pamela Abdi were absolutely. That's what their mindset was prior to Gunn's hiring and him coming in like an assault rifle and just goodbye, you're all done. Like I'm sure that a lot of people in Warner Brothers are pissed off, and I guarantee you'll be seeing sooner than later. It looks like. Okay, so you'll see sooner than later that a lot of people in Warner Brothers are probably going to lose, even within Warner Brothers that work there, probably even going to lose their jobs. Not even the ones that we want, just because of the direction that this is all going. But if you look at Dwayne, besides his role in the DC, what was the DCEU, he wasn't made an advisor at the studio. So with this news,
that's right.
So with this news, does this mean that he was fired as the advisor too?
Yeah, that's right. I do remember hearing something about that he was apparently a advisor along with Todd Phillips.
He absolutely was. I don't know if he's, but anyway, so this is what The Rock says. He says, my passionate friends, I wanted to give you a long-awaited Black Adam update regarding the character's future in the new DC universe. James Gunn and I connected, and Black Adam will not be in their first chapter of storytelling. This is a PR response, just like Henry's. They're saying this as nice as possible to not burn bridges, but you know what it is. However, DC and $7 have agreed to continue exploring the most valuable ways Black Adam can be utilized in future DC multiverse chapters. James and I have known each other for years and have always rooted for each other to succeed. It's no different now. And look at they all look at, and it's almost like this is a requirement is for everyone to give James Gunn their blessing. Zach did it. You seen Henry do it. Now you're seeing Cavill do it. So are they making? There must be somebody telling them to give Gunn their blessing.
Yeah.
But
they won't survive this, guys. They're not going to trust me. As a fan, they're not going to survive this.
See, and right here, you guys know me, and I have very thick skin. See, that is code for I'm very pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And
Exactly.
you can always count on me to be direct with my words. These decisions made by James Gunn and the DC leadership represent their vision of DCU through their creative lens. See, I like how he words this professionally and respectful. On one hand, it looks like he's like giving his full blessings, but if you think about the way he's choosing to word this, these decisions made by James Gunn and the DC leadership represent their vision of DCU through their creative lens.
Just like basically a double F you and shove it up your ass.
Yeah, double
Type of
innuendo.
response.
That's what that is. That's a double. After 15 years of relentless hard work to finally make Black Adam, I'm very proud of the film we delivered for fans. I will always look back on the fan reaction to Black Adam with tremendous gratitude, humility, and love. We did great. To my very passionate and vocal Black Adam superhero genre fans, I love you and thank you, and I will always be listening to you and do my best to deliver and entertain you. See, and I respect the hell out of that.
Yeah, I respect that. I respect that.
See, and right here, what a hell of a month. Now we all need some, and he's talking about alcohol. Oh, there's another one right there. Happy holidays. Wow, having to put that at the end of it. Jesus Christ. And
You know what? They could even pick the best time.
James Gunn to start doing this shit all right before Christmas, though.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's a good point. Why would they do this to us right now when it's going to be Christmas? Man, they got to be freaking kidding me.
Yeah, you got to be shitting me. Just a double FU to the fans is basically what that is. You know, and like I said, so let's. This is what I want. The highlights right here. What a hell of a month. Now we all need a drink, basically.
Yeah.
In this comment right here, these decisions made by James and DC leadership represent their vision of DCU through their creative lens. So, and then we need and what a hell of a month. I need a drink. Okay.
And that's really that's really the thing. Like I already know, it hasn't happened yet, but I think everyone is kind of in agreement on this that once Gal put something out like this, you thought when people were upset that Henry Cavill was let go from DC, bro, when Gal is let go as Wonder Woman, it's basically gonna be a hellstorm. Basically, it's gonna be a hellstorm. Basically, when Gal is officially let go.
I think that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna do it like right after it calms down a little. They're gonna bring it in.
But you know what they're gonna do to save face with as it pertains to Gal Gadot because she's a woman. And the fact that a shitstorm already came out when they fired, and Patty Jenkins might not have been the one to direct the third movie, but we all can agree that nobody wants Gadot gone. No one. Okay. So the shitstorm that came out from the media just when it looked like he fired the director. You know, so when Gal comes out, you know what they're gonna do because that the feminists are gonna come out hard. What he's gonna do is he's gonna fire her. But what he's going to do is like what he did with Jason and give her a different role, offer her a new role, and it'll be up to her to take it or pass on it in the DCU playing a whole different character. And I guarantee you that's what the move's going to be when it pertains to Gal Gadot. We'll have to wait and see. But I guarantee that's what the move's going to be. Guaranteed.
Hey guys, did you see what Ray Fisher said? I love Ray Fisher because he is one gentleman and he ain't taking no shit from nobody. He just laid it on the ground. You heard what he said, right?
Yeah. Where he said about James Gunn deleting his tweets about apologizing, and he said, he snapped on him. I seen it the other day.
And Yeah, that he kind of was, but yeah, like that was, yeah, that was like wow.
Twitter's just blowing up right now, man. I'm looking at the feed, and I mean, it's just saying, "Fire James Gunn," hashtag "Fire James Gunn,"
Look at this is
boycott WB.
Oh yep.
Yep. And you know, and here's the thing too. I don't understand. I don't care how many people at Warner Brothers are out of touch with reality, don't even know about the fan base. How is it good? There's no way that even if that you argue, they say, oh, it's a vocal minority on Twitter crying. You know, even if you fucking want to go down that route and play that bullshit, okay, all these news articles, when shit like this happens and it's this big and there's a shitstorm, how many shitstorms do they have? And then people write articles, and then the Hollywood Reporter and Variety and them start reporting on them. You know that the whole world, like, this is the only studio that's constantly being put in a negative light constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Just over and over. Like, how do they think that this shit is good for their company when they're $50 billion in debt to constantly be negatively trending, constantly have people mad as shit at you, and constantly be having articles and shit wrote about your company about being incompetent, about you know, firing, and about being laid off, and about your debt? This is the shit that you, anytime you think you talk about Warner Brothers, this is all that you can search it up on Google. This is all the shit that's going to come up on Google.
Yep.
Right.
So how is that good for your business when you're coming in and you're a whole new like regime and you're doing the same dumb mistake, making the same dumbass mistakes the last regime did? Do you guys learn nothing from you guys just gonna keep repeating history? Like, until you guys go so broke, the company needs to be dispersed and the IPs get sold off? Because that's looking like that's what it's gonna have to come to.
Yep.
Yeah, you know what? That's exactly what's going to happen, and I feel sorry for them. They just don't understand what beast they unleashed. They unleashed the beast. They try to call us minority. They try to call us minority. We're not minority. We're the ones that brought back Zack Snyder's Justice League, right?
Yeah.
So if we brought that movie back, think of us as a big global movement. Don't think of us minority. Sorry for you, buddy. I don't know what world you living in.
It's the fucking clown show. You know, they got James Gunn sitting here promoting Guardians of the Galaxy, you know, at the same time that he's supposed to be running their studio, promoting his work at Marvel. You know, it's just ridiculous, you know. And then this, you know, oh, and of course, this is super PR. James Gunn retweeted The Rock's comment, you know, trying to let him down. Oh, The Rock, I'm always excited to see what he and 7 Bucks Theaters have to do.
Yeah, buddy, he's kissing ass. He knows his ass is out the door. That's why.
And look, and here's the thing you got to think about. People want to talk about Henry Cavill being too old to be Superman. He's 39. Robert Pattinson's playing a year 2 Batman, and he's fucking 30, almost 37.
36.
Oh,
yeah, 37.
wow.
He's almost 37, or he is 30, or 36, almost 37. So, so how is it that Henry's too old to play because you're not talking about an origin, you're talking basically, essentially, from the sounds of the description of the Superman movie that Gunn wants to create, that sounds a hell of a lot like a year 2 Superman to me, don't it?
Yeah, that's just a small group saying that Henry Cavill's old. He's not old. He's actually still young in his prime, and he can go another 10, 20 years doing Superman.
But even if you go down that route and you sees it that way, right? Mm-hmm. How could James Gunn and DC see it that way when they just cast it and are continuing on with the Reeves verse with Robert Pattinson? You know what I'm saying? Like, that don't make no sense. That shit don't make no sense, bro. And
do you know that the Matt Reeves Batman was supposed to if they would have stopped it, if they didn't have that turmoil back then in 2017, they would have not even have that Matt Reeves come in to do another Batman. We didn't really need another Batman. They could have just continued with Ben Affleck's Batman.
Exactly.
Give him his solo, right? And then continue from there. But these guys are morons. They're idiots at WB. They're just morons, you know?
Right, yeah, and that's really the thing too. Like this right? Oh wow, this tweet right here. Like really, when it comes to like James Gunn with this whole thing, it's like, I get it. You're promoting your Marvel stuff and you're trying to promote your DC stuff, but it's like you're in Two-Face mode basically, where Harvey Dent is basically the Marvel side and the Evil Dent is like the DC side, and it's like really like you're kind of like pushing like this very negative thing on the DC side. Because, like I said, I'm still gonna be watching Guardians of the Galaxy 3 because I actually am interested in a Rocket Raccoon origin and really where he came from, and really how the cast seems to be in on it. But the thing is, like after Guardians of the Galaxy, after Guardians 3, it's like after Guardians 3, it's gonna be I'm gonna be a lot more tougher on James after Guardians 3 because it's like on the DC side, you have a lot to prove. Like on the Marvel side, you've proven your worth, but it's like on the DC side, it's kind of like you still kind of have something to prove and that's really why I said at the beginning of this that when it came to his
Bro, they're fired,
announcement,
bro. I don't know. Emiliano, he wasn't fired. Neither was Henry Cavill. They just won't come back for the first chapter. They're fired, bro. That's bullshit. They're fired, bro. Come on.
Yeah, like
No, they're fired.
Yeah,
dog.
that's true. They're fired. They that's just the way they want it right now. But you know what? We just got to speak out, man. We just got to keep on blowing shit up on Twitter, keep on tweeting, fire James Gunn. It's gonna happen, you know, and hurt them where it hurts. You know, what does it hurt in their wallet? Let's not pay for their crap. That's not what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna pay for their crap.
Look
yeah,
at
the thing is, like, this is actually the most interesting thing about the Depp thing. One more thing about the Depp thing. So the last update prior to today or this past week was when it was announced that they were 50 billion in debt. So in November, the last update was they were in 47 billion in debt. So think about this. They went from 47 last month to another 3 billion this month. So that's like
Wow.
so that means in 1 month they got $3 billion more in debt. Really just think about that.
Yeah, when you think about
that's crazy, man.
Crazy.
Yeah.
You know, and I just want to talk about this real quick because I don't want you guys. I don't know if you're being serious, like, you know what I'm saying. And I ain't trying to kill your optimism and shit like that. But that's absolutely a PR move. That's what that means, okay? Because if there was something for Dwayne Johnson or Henry Cavill down the road, they would have got that in writing. Okay, they would have said we're not ready to announce anything, but we'll be playing somebody else, or we'll be coming back as our respective roles, but in a slightly soft rebooted way down the road. And they would have broke that down. What that means, you know what's going to happen by the time the Superman movie comes out, this new rebooted one, it'll be 2 years from now at least. And by the time then, you don't think that The Rock and Henry Cavill aren't going to be on other projects? Then what they're going to do is they're going to release another PR statement down the road, and they're going to say, oh, you know, due to creative differences, they chose not to return. And really all it was is that they didn't never have no plan for him to come back anyway. You know what I'm saying? Even if there really is, even if you give them the benefit of the doubt, and they really is, and that really was on the bookmark, that really was a plan to bring them back, they're going to be busy with other projects because first this Superman movie's got to come out. That's going to take 2 years at least. Then in 3 years, it's got to be well received. Then they've got to, you know, hash out what the next movies are going to be before they just bring them randomly back. How are you going to bring Henry back as somebody when you're doing a standalone Superman movie with a different freaking dude playing Superman? How is that going to fit in the universe? You're talking 5 years down the line. You're talking 5 years down the line. Now, Henry Cavill, he's not old, but The Rock is fucking 50 years old right now. He is. So in 5 years from now, The Rock's going to be pushing, hey, baby, hi. But yeah, you know, he will be pushing, you know, quite 50, over 50, 55 almost, 53. So, it's just,
And,
don't fall. That's PR talk. I'm telling you, they're done. That's what there is to it. They don't
yep,
fit in with new.
and really, this is something to add more proof to that, because really, just think about this for a second. After Henry made that Instagram post about him being on at Superman, after he made that post about him being on at Superman, I don't know if you follow I don't know if you follow him on Instagram and stuff, but Amazon Prime announced that he's going to be starring and being a executive producer in a live action adaptation of Warhammer 40,000. Now I
Yeah.
don't know. So that means to me that he made a huge commitment, and we're supposed to believe, and like he made this huge commitment to a video game franchise, a video game live action franchise, and we're supposed to believe that, there, and we're supposed to believe that Henry Cavill has time for. We're supposed to believe that Henry has time for Superman cameos. Really think about that. Like, it's one thing to star in The Witcher and do Superman at the same time, but it's a whole nother thing to be a executive producer and a star in one franchise and be Superman in another. Like, that's
Right.
crazy.
Exactly. T.Y. Bone Skyberg said that, James Gunn wants reboot. Again, that's why I'm done. And I just don't like James Gunn now. He's going to ruin DC. And I'm very worried about this. Yeah,
I'm very worried about it too. Like that's the thing. Like people on Twitter are telling me that I'm not a DC fan, but the thing is, to me, the thing is, I really am worried about DC, and people are saying, like, why are you pushing so hard against this whole thing? Is just because the thing is, I personally believe that with the route that everything is going, that it's in the wrong direction. Because think about this, like, we've been going at this, like, the Snyderverse movement, really think about this, like, me, T Flame, and Jimmy have been dedicated to the DCEU for 10 years. For 10 years, literally a decade now. And right now, like, we're just getting tired of it, and we're just really worried about the way things are headed.
Right. And honestly, though, like I said, and my thing is, though, it's just that I've already dedicated a decade to this studio and watching them fumble the ball, and not even fumble it. They're at this point, they're doing it. They're shooting themselves in the foot on purpose.
Definitely.
Over and over. There's absolutely no excuse. So why do I want to wait? Why do fans? The more hardcore fans, you're always gonna have them fans. They'll watch anything that they crank out with the label on it. I get it. Okay, I get that. But for most of the hardcore fans, and even the fans that wasn't fans of the Snyderverse, but they was of the cast and of the DC brand, a lot of them even, like, why should they? How are you going to prove to them that they should dedicate another 10 years to see if you're going to crank out something worth a damn?
Yep.
Especially, you're in no position to demand that. That James Gunn in that fucking studio is not in no position to make any demands when they're $50 billion in debt. $50 billion. And on top of that, you think that any of these, the embarrassment The Rock has after talking about the hierarchy?
Oh yeah, he was hyping that up.
They promised him a sequel. They promised him a JSA spinoff. That all this, and that not only did they cancel all his projects, they fired him from the goddamn role. So,
and the thing is, too, people
they've done to Henry, and we just talked recently about what they did to Henry, but the disrespect they've done to Henry, or The Rock, you think that they're going to come back, period, at this point? Even if they were like, oh, guys, we f***ed up real bad, man. You know what? Let's not do that.
I'll tell you how they're going to come back. Listen to this. If they bring back Zack Snyder or Deborah Snyder with Chris Nolan,
that is, yep. That's
the only way these guys will return. The only way.
That is,
you know, and they'll have to pull to do it too.
And like I said, you know, this is the other thing that doesn't make sense to me, right? You know, you want your own universe. You can create a Black Label universe, a DCU label universe. Why do you gotta brand over top of the DCEU when you can start the DCU? You can let this next slate of films ride out, leave that universe alone for a year or two, and then figure your shit out then and see how you're financially sitting and see how the DCU's rocking. You know what I'm saying? And then make a decision. We're gonna brand over or merge the two, or we're gonna erase this. You know, you could have just did your DCU thing, all new cast, all that shit, and had your own thing going on over on the side, and then left the door open for down the road that Zach, or even if it's not Zach, you know, someone that knows what the hell they're doing, come in and continue and finish the Snyderverse and do the JL sequels. Like that was not that hard to do. If an idiot like me can figure that out, there's no reason why they couldn't have did it. And I seems like that's what the plan was until James Gunn decided, I'm in charge now. I'm gonna do what I want.
Yep.
All they had to do was to leave it the way it was, right? They could have brought on the multiverse right after the fourth movie, and if he wanted to recast, he could have done it. But doing it this way is not helping them.
And why didn't he wait? And look, and here's another thing too. And I wouldn't have liked this neither. But why? There was better ways to even go about this. This would have been shitty, and everybody would have been mad anyway. But if you were going to do things like this, why would you not wait until the Flash movie came out that you have your hands all over and he's coming out, you know,
bingo.
Throw you off a whole nother universe and dead at this universe, or leave it in limbo, waiting for it to come back to down the road and see how things go. It's not that fucking hard to do. It's not that hard. These decisions that they're making are just, it makes you understand that they do not even Marvel director James Gunn, he don't know what he's doing either. He don't understand the IPs. He don't understand what the Flashpoint storyline is. Clearly, he don't understand how any of that shit works. He don't. Clearly, none of them do.
Yep. And the thing is too, like, I've actually talked to actual casuals over on Twitter. And I'm just scrolling through, and I'm just going through random timelines, and these are people that I don't know at all, that aren't Snyder fans at all, and they're saying the exact same thing pretty much, and saying like, why do I need to invest in Shazam 2 if it's not going to be canon in this reboot? Like,
it's already been confirmed in my mind. It's already been confirmed in my mind because of the statements from Jason Momoa, his little videos that were cryptic, what he said about James Gunn hitting with the Lobo, and that article that came out. The writing's already on the wall. That movie is going to be it. They're going to reshoot that, take Ben out, and make that movie end like it's permanently ended. That's what they're doing. You know, and then, like I said, I have a buddy of mine. He said he had the people that were working on the VFX for the Flash, one of the insiders, that they came in, fired them, and now they're so that nobody is there to know what they're going to dick with and change in the Flash movie. And now they're going to be essentially removing Henry, removing Gale, and changing some elements, and probably removing Ben Affleck as well.
Oh wow!
Because that's what's going on now. And I didn't really believe that shit before, but after all of this, I absolutely know that to be the case. You know, because they're like, well, you know, they feel like, well, because we ain't got an official trailer that, you know, we're not going to know when the movie comes out that it's been dicked with again and again and again and again. And that's what they're doing. And, you know, and I want to read this comment from Frank C. He said, if those stocks keep dropping, Gunn won't get a chance. There's a lot of
he's right.
Warner Brothers and investors are pulling out. And look, you think them investors that are pulling out, you think that they're not looking and seeing all these negative articles? Hashtag fire James Gunn. That shit is making them quake in their boots. Maybe Gunn, don't listen to Gunn and his cocky bullshit on social media. He's a fucking nerdtron on a power trip that thinks he knows best, and that he, and that's all there is to it. And he clearly wasn't the right man for the job. That's right. All there is to that. And we'll see. I guarantee you that maybe he lasts long enough to get that movie out, that reboot movie in a year or two out. Maybe not. But when that comes out, I'm telling you, if that movie don't knock it out, he's essentially put all this stress and pressure on himself. By the way, he wanted to roll the way he wanted to move. He wanted to move like this. You know what I'm saying? And he's gonna have to answer for this one day, if not now, in a year. If not in a year, in 2 years, when that movie drops, that'll be the day of reckoning. If anybody even sticks around long enough for that, if things don't change between now and then, I'm telling you, it's gonna be a bloodbath.
Yep,
you got that right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just can't believe though. And I'm telling you, I want to take bets now. What do you guys think? And I know this ain't cool, and it's not even funny to joke about, but in all seriousness, we got to face truth, face reality. This is what it's come to. Who do you guys think is going to announce they've been fired next? My money.
I know Ezra's already fired. That's for sure.
Yeah, my money is Gal.
Gal Gadot. Yep.
That's what I'm putting my and like I said, now with hers though, it's not going to be like Henry and The Rock. Hers again, because she's a female and a woman, and because of the way that the negative shit that they've had in the back, from the JL mishandling of the JL cast behind the scenes. I feel like they're going to give her a fluffy letdown, cushiony, it's going to be real PR, to the point where you're not even going to be able to read what's what, and they're going to basically, in my opinion, what they're going to do is they're going to essentially offer her a job to play someone completely different in 3-4 years down the line when if they ever even get them movies off the ground. And if she chooses not to do that, you know what I'm saying, then it's going to be, oh, we didn't do that. She walked away because of creative differences. That's the bullshit they're going to run. I know it. I know that's what they're going to do.
Such wasted talent, right? So they're going to waste these actors' characters when they're the best of the characters that they can be right now. They're just going to let them just go like that. I just feel bad for Henry, bad for Affleck, and bad for Gadot, because that's what's going to happen.
Yeah,
but
and
we're dealing with little kids here,
Yeah, that's really the thing too about this whole thing. I said that, I tweeted about this, but I never said this on video before. T-Flame probably knows what I'm talking about, where I tweeted saying that I was basically had a feeling that this whole thing would go down since May, and I said that I've been making a few scripts. That's the thing. People say that I'm not a DC fan like that at all, but I'm actually making scripts of stuff of DC stories that I think are actually pretty good. So the thing is, I'm going through a whole closure tour right now of about putting soundtracks on Spotify of the scripts that I've actually made. So the thing is, people can say that I'm not a DC fan, but I'm just gonna do me and still continue to make DC stories that I think are really interesting. So,
and here's the other thing too, is that what pisses me off too is that think about the news. Right? Here's the difference: this news, or Zack Snyder is coming back in 2024 to complete Justice League Part 2. The difference of a reaction and the difference of their stocks, the difference that would have had, as opposed to, hey, we're going to fire everybody one by one by one by one. and then we're gonna erase this universe, and then we're gonna do this, and then I'm gonna get on Twitter, be a dickhead to fans, and then I'm gonna go at every news site article and every scooper, and this is the difference, but this is mismanagement, bro, and this is consistent with this studio, man, and like I said, man, and this is what makes me mad, right? Him coming out and taking the side of these fucking antis, because they keep trying to say, oh, the vocal minority, like, oh, I'm not. So now now these people that like to say that oh, you're not a DC fan, you just want Snyder, you just shut the fuck up, man. Because even most of the people that ain't antis, that didn't care for Snyder shit, they loved the cast and they just wanted better stories that were being told.
Yeah,
okay?
exactly. And
you want to know what the vocal minority is? Is these fucking antis. When you get on, I just had a guy do this to me the other day. When you get on my shit and get on videos where that are a year old, oh man, that didn't age good, huh? Snyderverse is dead. Henry's fired. So-and-so's fired. They're all gone. Praise James Gunn. Like, dude, you're clearly not even a fan, bro. Like, you're not even, like, you're the vocal minority. You and about 20 other fuckfaces that make these bot accounts and have no life and live in your mother's basement. To go around,
and the thing is too,
shit, bro. Who hates Marvel shit? Like, who does that? Like, if you like Marvel, why you ain't watching some Marvel shit? If you like DC, why aren't you over here, participating in a proper manner? Like, if you like Rebel Moon, if you like Transformers, what you're spending you're gonna tell me that you're the real fan that they should be targeting, and every comment from you, which is scattered out over 6 months, is a comment a month, and all it is praising the downfall of everything fucking DC films. Like, okay, yeah, you're a fan, right? Yep. Okay, you're not a real fan? No, you're not a real fan, my guy. You're not. And I'm talking to that asshole, I'm not going to say his name, that I blocked, and I literally blocked and deleted all of this shit because I'm like, him and like one of his buddies, like, damn, bro, you killed him. Like, oh my God, you got on my face, or you got on my YouTube and said something so profound. Oh, I've never heard that from antis before.
Right.
Yeah, like, applause. Like, like that's the people I can't stand. And I've got a lot of friends, and I've got some friends that stream too on here on YouTube, and even some of the people that they rock with, like they get on there, like Saggy Melons, for example, getting on there. She was sitting there cheering. It's like, yeah, when Henry Cavill got fired.
What?
Universe is dead on Mad Max's streams. And then, also that kind of pissed me off too is if Max wants to get onto my stream, he knows how to reach me. I don't appreciate content being taken without my permission, so that you and 8 of them assholes can talk about how they hate my face the second they start playing the video. I don't appreciate that shit, bro. I really don't, and I don't like the people you rock and roll with neither. So that's just that, because I know they're going to be skimming through this later, and I hope they do. But I'm just saying that that's toxicity right there. That's toxicity. Like, I just don't know why people do that shit, because, like, I love this shit. I'm passionate about it. Everybody on the channel is, everybody in this chat is, right?
Yep.
We can disagree, but at the end of the day, we're still fans, right?
Yep.
Who do you know that constantly goes over to somebody's shit on a topic they're not interested in every day just so they can say, yes, I'm so happy that you're upset and everything's screwed. Like, you don't do that unless you got a fucking mental disorder, man. Like,
and
right. True.
There's a tweet that I said that there's a Twitter thread that I said I think I sent it 2 nights ago. Right, I think I sent it 2 days ago, where I was basically going on this whole thing where I was basically saying that I'm not going to lower my standards, and I basically ended the Twitter thread saying that this isn't a Twitter message to give up or or you get angry. But to me, I basically made that Twitter thread to basically say I want them to do better. Like that's really all I want them to do is
Exactly.
really to be better.
You know what, guys? Any one of us who's passionate about DC, like I am, like you are, like Jeffrey is, they can come in there right now and give them a good slate. You want to hear my slate? I had 14 movies that I even put on Twitter, and I mean everybody would have gone with it. Look, Man of Steel 2 would have been the next movie, right? With
Yep.
Henry Cavill, Brainiac would have been the villain.
Yep.
Sasha Calle, they could have used her, brought her in Supergirl, and what else? After that, Batman versus Deathstroke, introducing the man Affleck, Joe Magneto. Who else? Introduced Nightwing, Batgirl, and Lex Luthor. That would have been that.
Yep.
Wonder
That
Woman
would've
Part
been that.
3, right? Wonder Woman Part 3 in modern times, right? And she's going to go up against Circa. They would have brought the Flash, bring in Reverse Flash, and give him an origin story. That's how you start the Flash. After that, Green Lantern Corps, right? Bring in Ryan Reynolds as an older Hal Jordan, and then bring in Wayne T. Carr as Colonel Stewart. And they go up against who? Atrocious and Scallops. My goodness, man, these guys could have done like this, man. Oh my goodness, man. Any one of us could have done a slate like that, you know?
I mean, look, I don't understand. Like, why don't you like? Why don't they have like if they don't, truly ain't gonna bring Snyder back ever, right? And then for whatever reason they just won't do that. Before you hire Gunn, why not have tryouts and just like have people come in and pitch their ideas, see what they got, see what they're talking about.
Right.
Broke down. What's the problem with that? Like,
That's right. Have your own think tank, man. Like we're the fans. We know what we want, so we'll give you what you can put out there, so other people can like it.
Yeah. You know, and the thing is too, is the thing that irritates me about Gunn, right? He sees all the stuff that we share, that we post. He knows that that we want these kind of slates, and he knows he'd be fired. But here's the problem: he didn't think of it. He didn't think of it first. So he ain't gonna do it just to give us the middle finger. Like that, that's why he's doing what he's doing. And he's the director in the building. He said, "What did I miss? Oh, not much. Just a bunch of
not much."
But I get, and the thing is too is like I get, sometimes I get loud, I get hyped, but it's at the end of the day, it's just passion. I really care about these characters, this franchise, and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, that's right. That's what he's gonna be missing in his universe is the heart that Zack Snyder put into his movie, the love that he put into his movies. That's gonna be missing out of this guy's movies. Nobody's gonna want to see that crap. I'm sure not going to.
Yeah, exactly. And Raul McMillan said, "I don't get gloating when you're not even a fan. It's all about creating content. Nothing is genuine anymore." Right.
He's right about that.
I don't know about that, but okay.
Raul McMillan, he said, "Sagas always does that bull crap. They have become toxic as fun. Play victim, yet surround themselves with people like." Yeah, I know, and they had no clue about the Snyderverse until she streamed with us with Max. Yeah, I know. I've seen quite a bit of it over the last year.
Yeah.
I know all about that, and it's just like I said. Some people like literally, they can praise all they want, but it's like, what kind of content you gonna create? Because you ain't gonna be. Because like me, I'm not sticking around. I'm not gonna make 100 videos like bitching and crying about all these bad moves and L's they're taking. I'm gonna do my thing over there on social media on the other side of things, promoting against them in my own way and showing that this ain't a good move and try to do something about it. And if that don't work, then like I said, I'm just out. But I'm not gonna continuously make content about stuff that I just blatantly will not and refuse to support. So it's something that I'll have to address at some point on this channel. If we got to change directions, because we'll have to see how things go. But they need to remember too, like you guys make content and make your bread off of hating us motherfuckers. So You know, at some point when when there's nothing, no more, we refuse to talk about it anymore or to go there with y'all. What are you going to do then when you've dedicated your whole channel around this topic about being an anti and shit? Like, what are you going to do? I don't know. Like, I'm talking again, responding to Rel.
They're gonna go up to Grace Randolph and get some of her pointers.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's fun to poke fun and all that and whatnot, but it's like some of them just take it too far. Like, it's like I don't understand. It's like, just if you don't like it so much, you don't need to get on streams and put "don't release the air cut" and sitting there praising them. Woo! When Henry Cavill gets fired, like I mean, if that's what you want to do, then cool. But what are you going to do when that shit runs out?
Right.
Yeah.
True.
I mean, so it is what it is. I mean, it's just like I said, I just never understand people like that. And I frankly don't want to and don't give a damn to, because it's like, like I said, if like, for example, right, say I really hated the Transformers franchise. Why would I surround myself with people that are huge fans of it and then every day make it a point to just follow everything they do to talk shit to them? Who does that unless you are mental? Like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll never understand. I'll never understand it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just won't. But
yeah.
like I said, I mean, we'll see. But we'll have to see with this news and everything, guys. I think we're gonna wrap this up. I think we covered everything we wanted to cover. Yeah, Dwayne Johnson is now out as Black Adam. His franchise is effectively canceled. He's done. Henry's out. Who's next? Like I said, my money is on a soft, cushiony land for Gal Gadot being next. And the way that they're going to handle it, it's going to be real cushiony. But, yeah, you guys let me know in the comment section, or let me know somehow, who do you think is going to be next? And, Jimmy, who do you think, real quick, who do you think, if you had to guess out of all the casts, who do you think will be next to announce it the way that Henry and The Rock has, that they're effectively fired?
Yo, you hit it right on the nose. Gal Gadot will probably come up there real soft and,
Yeah, that's my bet too. I'm sure there's going to be more to follow, obviously, but I mean, like, the next one in line as of now, So,
Yeah.
Jeffrey, what about you?
Sadly, I think it's gonna be Gal.
Yeah, I think so.
Because something about that. Because I'm going back to that tweet that that Gal was talking about when she was talking about Wonder Woman 3 before Patty Jenkins got the boot. And in retrospect, in retrospect, that's kind of like a bad sign to me. Like, that was kind of like her kind of alluding to her maybe getting let go. So
you're right.
Like, as of right now, looking back at that tweet that she put out about saying, I want to thank the fans for accepting me as a Wonder Woman. Like, looking back at that tweet, I feel like Gal might be next, sadly.
Yeah. James Gunn gave it away when a fan on Twitter said to him, Gal Gadot's out the door now, and then Gunn says, where are you getting your information from? That's the same thing he said about Henry Cavill.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because remember,
the same thing.
That nobody can know anything but him and Peter. But yeah, all this information was.
He said the same thing. He
came out swinging, and then he had to come back out and announce, like, "Oh shit! Well, actually, everything that was going on is true."
Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen too.
He looked like a fool when he did that.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like, he said, and he even doubled down on it when that Denim Nerds guy said, after you told me that you actually like Henry Cavill, more people have come out to me and said you really don't like him. And then he said, "Oh no!" And then James Gunn doubled down again, saying, "No, your sources are wrong. I'm sorry, but you live in your mother's basement." And then, like, a few days later, it was either 2 or 3 days later that Henry Cavill announced that he was gone as Superman.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, that looked real sus, man. You know, because
Yeah,
he
that
literally, I
was.
remember that he literally had just had said, "Oh no," you know, he even clapped back hard on him. He tried to clown
Yeah.
him. He tried to dog walk him over social media over that post, and then his silly ass had to come out. What was it? A couple days later, and
Yeah.
announce he fired Henry Cavill, and he
Yeah,
wasn't even the one to do
exactly.
it. He had to make Henry do it.
Yeah. Yeah, he had
He's a
to,
low
yeah,
life, man. He's just a low life, man. I'm sorry, I don't like to do it at all. Period.
I know, you know, like I said, I know that a lot of people, you know, that you know, they need content. I guess all that, you know, and they can, if they want to keep following Gunn's run, anything to do with Gunn. I mean, hell, I'll even be willing to talk about Pattinson, but I'm not talking about a damn thing that I'm not even going to talk about it on the, like, unless it has to do with them screwing us over. And you know, with I'm going to do these casts to give a, you know, a goodbye, if that's what it is, to the things we've been riding hard for over a decade. I think they
yeah,
deserve at least that, you know, and say
yeah,
goodbye to these actors. If they're going to get rid of them one by one, I'm going to do that. But once
yeah,
that chapter is done and we're closed out with that, I'm not talking or putting on anything to do with Gunn and his new tenure that he's in, his new run with whatever he's choosing to do moving forward. And
Right.
and that's that with me. You
mhm,
know, the Joker too. You know, that is its own thing. I
yeah,
rather enjoyed the first one. They still think they should have gave that movie to Jared Leto and gave him
yeah,
his standalone. And let
yeah,
us see what he's got. Let us judge for ourselves. I mean, you're willing to throw this money at James Gunn to make the biggest DCU flops that's ever been made, but you can't, you know, give somebody, you know, a redemption arc from something that you destroyed and refused to release the cut that he's in. Still,
Right.
like 6-7
right.
years later, it's crazy, man.
That's only
Yeah,
right if they let Eric get his cut out, but I don't think it's gonna happen now. So
Nah,
yeah,
I
yeah,
really
I
don't
don't
think
think
so
it's
either.
gonna happen now.
Game City Savior said, I don't know if he's talking to me or not. He said, read my last comment. Right here. Let's make all 2023 DC movies $1 billion and go cold turkey on whatever Gun drops. You know,
that's funny.
hey, I mean, that's an idea. I don't know if I'm down for that, but you know what? I could see that. I don't know, man. I don't know what I want to do, honestly. I really don't
Yeah, I
at this
don't.
point.
Yeah, I don't know what I want to do either. Like, I don't know either.
You know, and
Only
you know,
time will tell, right, guys? Only time will tell how the ship is gonna go down or middle or up.
right, exactly.
I'm choosing down, man. It's going down with Gunn.
Yeah. Yep. And all right, guys. Ty Bones said, "Never lose hope, never give up." But all right,
Yep.
fellas.
That's right.
Thank you for everybody for tuning in. If you haven't seen the whole live stream, we broke down and covered a lot of stuff. So when you got time, go back and check it out. Jimmy, thank you for jumping on here, man. And in the future,
Keith Lynn,
anytime,
thank you, man. Jeffrey, thank you, man.
anytime in the
Anytime,
future,
man.
if you want to jump on, you're more than welcome to. Just give me a shout out, brother. And
No problem, man. Keep on doing what you're doing, man. You got it, man. Just keep on rocking this.
thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. All right, Jeffrey. I'll see you next time. Thanks, my co-host Jeffrey. You're awesome. Thank you for being here. And peace out, guys.